for the rain to stop. The wet season in the tropical north has delivered deluge after deluge, with yet another cyclone sweeping into Queensland over the weekend. And recent rain in the southeast of the continent has finally brought relief to some of the worst drought areas in the country. Many rivers are now running strongly out of Queensland into New South Wales and will deliver desperately needed flows all the way to the bottom of the Murray River in South Australia. Some areas of drought remain, but there's widespread jubilation at the change in fortunes. Paul Lockyer reports.
As Cyclone Alui tore across Queensland's central coast, it wasn't just the destruction from the 200-kilometre-an-hour winds that landholders feared, but the downpour that would be delivered to a state already awash from a drenching summer. There was much concern in St George and other communities across southern Queensland just starting to recover from record flooding.
Of course, it would be a concern. If it starts to rain here, people would have that at the back of their minds that here we go again.
But for the moment, clear skies are holding over the huge flood area, which grows bigger every day as the water stretches across the irrigation properties of southern Queensland into New South Wales. The Narran River is just one of many waterways delivering the flow across the border. It has peaked at near record levels at the village of Angledool and will stay just as high for 2 to 3 weeks.
This is going to be an extraordinarily big one in one long peak.
Right out to the far west of New South Wales, the rivers are rising. Debbie Kaluda is constantly checking to see how much more of her property north of Bourke has been covered by the Kookaburra Creek. It flows on to form an enormous basin which is already full.
This volume of water that we're going to need with all these rivers running as they are to be able to start to set things right again.
The Kookaburra Basin was first fed by heavy rains at Christmas time. Now the water stretches up to 20 kilometres long and more than 10 kilometres wide. It's a magnificent sight, especially for Debbie Kaluda, who is both a grazier and a conservationist. She's the secretary of the Australian Floodplains Association.
Relief environmentally for the wetlands that haven't been able to get a drink, and the little billabongs along the way, and the bird life and the plant life that have just been hanging on for so many years.
But it comes at a cost. Some properties have been swamped. Others have been isolated since the beginning of the year, relying on food drops or ferrying in supplies in everything from tinnies to kayaks. The McGrath family now has to paddle 5 kilometres to a vehicle they've left parked on the other side of the floodwaters.
The kayaks are so light, like there's one there, they're so light you can roll along with them and there they go.
The kayaks were a Christmas gift for the children. Now they're a crucial part of the flood relief effort and will be for weeks to come.
I have to get a big one, 4-seater, so Sandy can row. I can sit in the back having a beer properly.
A sense of humour is essential out here, especially for those who find themselves deep in floodwaters trying to rescue stranded sheep.
We've actually got water to our knees and mud to my ankle. It's not ideal conditions, so it's hard yakka.
Philip Ridge had to call for a helicopter shuttle to lift hundreds of sheep to high ground on his property.
We don't like to see our animals suffer at all, so we're keen to get them out.
Every cage that goes, you think, you little beauty, you know, like it's a few less that you're going to lose. We're pretty lucky here. We got most of ours out.
Stock losses from the flood are already big and climbing by the day, and there'll be a huge damages bill from the flood.
Long-term optimism with the water in the system, but some people are under extreme duress in the immediate term, of course.
Ben Farger of the National Farmers Federation believes rural Australia is poised to swiftly bounce back.
It's positive. People are optimistic about it. It gives farmers and regional communities an opportunity to produce, and that's what we've been lacking.
Rory Treweek agrees, as he happily takes in the sight of the Narran River steadily spreading across his property.
Well, there's nothing like a flood to reinvigorate the floodplain, put in the deep subsoil moisture that even rain can't do. So we're looking forward to at least a couple of really good years after this.
Much of the water flowing from Queensland is heading for the Darling River at Bourke. It won't reach there until the middle of next month, and it'll be mid-year before it gets all the way down the Darling to the Murray River and on to South Australia. A gift from Queensland, according to the Mayor in St George.
Brace themselves for what's coming and maybe get ready to celebrate because, you know, obviously there's been really, really big problems down there and hopefully that Queensland can help them overcome those.
Week by week since the beginning of the year, spreading rain has brought relief to many drought areas. Some parts of the country are still in trouble, but the flowing rivers are bringing a dramatic mood change in rural Australia.
It can rain, there's water in our systems, we're good at producing food and fibre in this country when it does rain, and of course that is a big input into our national accounts.
Water's huge, the calming effect that it has, the hope that it gives you when you see it coming down or even just flowing across your land, and then the green grass and pasture growth from that just brings everybody hope.
Paul Lockyer with that report, and that's the program for tonight. Join us at the same time tomorrow when we'll have detailed analysis of the health debate between Kevin Rudd and Tony Abbott, the first of 3 pre-election debates between the two leaders. Until then, good night.